Good. You're welcome. Good morning to this morning's webinar. My name's Adina Minz, and I am starting this webinar for you this morning. Bracha Banayan, she'll be here very, very soon. And just to introduce myself, I am a longtime career fitness, I like to say fitness professional, fitness coach. I've been doing group fitness for, I don't know, 20 plus years. I currently teach in Montville, New Jersey, and I've always been super passionate about health and wellness. I also do one-on-one coaching with all sorts of age ranges, male, female, not only in fat loss and in weight loss, but in also using those principles to bring mindfulness. My tagline is mindful consumption of all things, to bring that to your everyday health and wellness, fitness, and habits. And I'm also in my late 40s. So as a woman, I've gone through, many of the different stages that, we as females experience, from being pregnant, from having children, and then now I'm in that later stage of life, as a woman. So that comes with a whole new set of challenges and new learning in order to make sure that the habits that I have, that I'm connected to for me, are actually serving me, as I continue to get older. So I have to say, thank God I'm in really good health. And my goal for myself, and what I would hope for you as well, would be to not only look good, because as we know, like, in order to determine whether you are healthy or not, you're not able just to look on the outside. Health is really determined from the inside out, whether we're talking about, our physical health, which is, going to the doctor and getting your blood work done, doing all the things that we do for, regular health monitoring. In fact, if you, just by looking at you, I can't tell whether you're actually healthy or not, right? That's an inside job. We also have elements of spiritual health, mental health. And then, of course, a lot of that from the inside will radiate to the outside, how we're physically feeling, right? We can sort of see that sometimes on the outside. It definitely impacts our quality of life. Do we have energy? How is our sleep? Again, that it definitely impacts our quality of life. And then comes the thing that we see in the mirror, which I know is often what brings a lot of people to weight loss. It's, sometimes maybe they're working on it from the outside in, which it also works, but I'm really into and really coach a 300 and what I call 360-degree approach that really tries to get into the mindset of, why am I doing this? What am I trying to get out of it? What is my long-term goal? So, like I said, I know Bracha is going to join us in a second. The beauty of whether you're working with IV drips, you might be an IV drips client or thinking about becoming an IV drips client, is that they've got the medical side covered. And it's part of the way that they have organized their weight loss program, is that it really starts with going through your medical history to make sure that what's happening on the inside, is checked before we move on to whether, you know, whichever medication might be right for you, whatever kind of, you know, weight loss assistance program, you know, you will be eligible for. They're making sure that your body is ready for that medication. And honestly, I always say, don't ask me to make that decision for you, because I'm not on that medical side. I'm not going to read your blood. I'm not going to be making an analysis on your hormones and your thyroid and all of those things that you need, you know, a proper medical setting to do. But after that, after, you know, you've taken that step and have started that journey. And I just want to mention, you don't necessarily need to do you know, what they call a medical weight loss. You might be here today just really to hear about, you know, those everyday habits that you want to incorporate as part of your life. Maybe even you've done your medical weight loss and now you're in a maintenance phase, what I call a waitnance phase. And everybody, I think, can benefit from the everyday tips, tricks, hacks, and understanding, you know, how do I get this to fit into my life so that whatever it is that I'm doing or whatever it is that I did and I put the effort into is going to sustain me for the long term. If you don't have a long-term plan, you know, you're really going to have a short-term result. And I don't know, where I'm sitting here, my focus has always been on the long term. And I would think that, if, like I said, if you're here and have taken that step or really on the precipice of taking that step, this is not a, you know, get rich quick or, you know, lose weight quick kind of scenario. These are habits that are meant to not only give you that, image that you want to see in the mirror, but also to recover and build up your health internally so that you have what they call longevity and you feel good, and you feel good for the long term. There is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. You can post a question. I actually just opened this box. You can post a question at any time, and I'll pop open the box and do my best to answer it if it's related to specifically what I'm speaking about. And again, your questions are anonymous to others in the chat. So, here's Bracha.
I made it.
You made it.
Please.
I just did an exceptionally long intro, but I think I did a good job.
I'm sure you did.
Okay. Look at us.
So I'm just going to start off telling everyone a little bit about my story, my background, and talk about these medications, GLP-1s, and how it's affecting economy and other benefits. Outside of going on GLP-1s, I think everyone wants to not only live longer, but live a healthier life. We want to all increase our health span and our lifespan. And how do we do that? And a lot of it comes down to how we eat, which is what we're going to focus on. What do I eat on a given day? How many grams of protein, fiber? What does it actually mean to have proper vitamins and nutrients? A lot of times we actually don't even know these things. I mean, me as a nurse practitioner, I've been on a journey to learn these things only recently in the past couple of years. And so we do want to share with you practical advice on what to eat on a given day, and also how you eat really actually matters and will affect your health long term. About 4 years ago, during COVID, I gained about 15 pounds. And I could not lose it. It was the first time in my life that I gained 15 pounds. I thought I pretty much ate healthy, worked out, and I could not lose the weight. After 1 year of trying, I decided to go on a GLP-1. And when I did this, I lost the 15 pounds in about 3 months. But through that journey, I learned many different things in terms of not only did it help me with weight loss, it helped me increase my energy levels. I made a lot of lifestyle modifications, and those changes helped me become a better version of me. I had less inflammation in my body. My skin got better. I got healthier, I slept better, I was more alert, and I realized that these medications are far more powerful than just helping people lose weight. There are so many studies now, and you see a lot of doctors in New York City, high-end physicians using these medications for not just weight loss, but we're using it for any sort of autoimmune disease. I mean, cardiologists are putting their patients on it. It helps decrease inflammation in our body. This past year, an article came out in Bloomberg saying how the CEO of Walmart saw a decrease in sales due to GLP-1s, which is showing how it's changing the economy. As a matter of fact, Elon Musk posted something this morning saying how GLP-1s are the closest thing that's going to help economy and healthcare for individuals, which is a very, very true fact. So just a little background about these medications. I know there's many different names, and I just want to go over them really quickly. So you have Ozempic, which is also very similar to Wegovy. Just think about it. It's a different color pen with a different sticker, but the active ingredient is actually the same thing. It's called semaglutide. So that's like saying ibuprofen is similar to semaglutide, and then you could label it Motrin or Advil, but the active ingredient is the same. So it's really just about FDA approval. For one, got FDA approval for diabetes, and the other one for weight loss. Trizepatide active ingredient. So Mounjaro or Zepbound, again, they're the same medications, just with different labels and different stickers of different indications for different things, but they're very similar. And that active ingredient is trizepatide. Trizepatide is made by Eli Lilly, and Mounjaro and Zepbound is made by Eli Lilly, and Ozempic and Wegovy is made by Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk is in Denmark. It is now worth more than Denmark itself. So the company is worth more than the entire country, which is showing how popular these medications are, how they're actually changing lives and really going to change the future of healthcare, not solely for weight loss, but because of the benefits that the drug has. So now that we have a little bit of an understanding about these medications and how they work, so they decrease the food noise in our head and they slow down our GI tract. When it slows down your GI tract, that means that you're going to stay full for longer and your sugar's not going to spike as high. These are the basis of these medications, but outside of that, it does many different things, especially when your sugar doesn't spike as high, you have less inflammation in your body. There are other indications for these medications now because we're noticing that it really affects our hypothalamus within our brain, and it helps us decrease our cravings. So this is going to work with alcohol. This is going to work with cravings in sugar. It's going to work with other cravings. This is drug is in studies right now for different addictions. And so with that, if it's going to decrease your cravings, you're going to have the ability to make different decisions on the actions you're going to make. So it's like what I know emotionally and what I know logically is combining. Usually we see a cookie, we see something, and it's like hard for us to make that decision. I don't want to eat it, I do want to eat it, but these medications help you make better decisions. So now that we have an understanding of these medications, and even if we're not on these medications, we want to have sustainable weight loss. Everyone wants to lose weight, but they also want to keep it off. That's the second part of losing weight. And what does your body actually need? What sort of nutrition do you need? The reason why these medications probably get a very bad reputation is because when people go on these medications, unfortunately, they are not understanding how to eat. They are completely silencing their body instead of listening to it. At IV Drips, we really focus on listening to our body. Do not silence it. These drugs are here to help you talk to your body and be more aware. But with the going on the medications and having proper coaching, then you could start being a little bit more about what your body's telling you, because we do silence our body for many, many years. And unfortunately, the only time we really are able to talk to our body is when we get blood work and we see the results 15, 20 years later, that our body's really almost yelling to us. So what could we eat on a given day, and how do I eat? What order do I eat? And what are the foods that we need to have? And so Adina, I'm going to turn the tables to you. Like people, I always tell all of our patients, like, you want to try to hit X amount of grams a day. And they're like, how do I do this? So on a practical way, what should people eat on a given day in terms of protein, fiber, in general? What nutrition should we have? Different lifestyles, like people are always like, I'm on the run, I don't have time to prepare. But at the end of the day, your body's your temple. So if you're able to take care of it, it will take care of you, and it will help increase your health span and your lifespan. So just if we could just jump in, and also we'll answer all questions. Yeah.
Okay. I love that. This is absolutely my favorite topic on the planet. Not only the macros, the macronutrients themselves, which I think most of us are actually familiar with. We've all heard of protein, we've all heard of carbohydrates, and we've all heard of fats. By the way, Bracha, I know you've heard of those three: protein, carbohydrate, and fats. There's actually a mystery fourth macronutrient that doesn't get spoken about a lot. And it's also kind of a little bit tied into this medication. So that's my little quiz for you. Do you know what the fourth like mystery macro is?
No, tell me.
Because it's not a fat, it's not a protein, it's not a carbohydrate.
Something
Ooh.
oil-based, soluble, something oil-based?
No, oil is fat. No.
No.
It's alcohol.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
alcohol, so a lot of times we think of alcohol as being a sugar. It's not actually a sugar, it's alcohol. It sort of puts on pause the processing of the other macronutrients because the body sees it as a toxin. So it puts its energy into getting rid of the alcohol, which sort of allows the other macros to still live in your bloodstream unprocessed. So, which is sometimes why people will put on alcohol weight. It's not just the calories, it's that it's also the fact that it's not giving the body time to process the other calories. So anyway, that's just, or energy. Let's think more in energy than calories. But anyway, that's the mystery macro. That was just my little fun game for the morning. So again, I think we all know, we know this. We know this. And in fact, I mean, if you were going to list off 3 proteins off the top of your head, and I'm sure our attendees here at this webinar would say similar. Give me like your top 3 proteins.
Me. Chicken, fish,
Chicken,
salmon, meat,
right?
mushroom, beans,
Mushroom. Okay. Okay. So
beans.
you just crossed into 2 different territories of protein. And I'm going to get to that in one second. But before I
Okay.
just quickly cover, and I have a few food demos here, and I'm going to throw them out at you. We're going to categorize them. We're going to give you a picture, a real life picture of you walking through the supermarket, taking things off the shelf to put in your cart, you're going to take home and keep in your pantry that you have to draw from, because we know, yes, we know that preparation is key, but extensive preparation, I know we are all very busy people. We don't have time for that. We don't have time to overthink it. And a lot of time we don't have, even a weekend, a Sunday, to do like a full meal prep. You see that on your social media all the time, like where they're measuring out their chicken. They have these little boxes with rice. Great if you can do that. But the average person, in my opinion, and probably from your experience, does not have time to put too much
Yeah.
energy into that.
Break it down for us. Like
Break it
what?
down. Okay. I want to touch on one more thing. When we make these choices, because you had spoken about IV drips, we don't silence the body, right? We're learning to work with the body, and making these choices at strategic moments throughout your day. I would love to use the word, instead of silencing the body, you're more directing the body. Okay. We're giving the body direction by intaking the macronutrients, or intaking that protein, in order to assist in the next decision and in the next decision. Because typically most people, maybe they put off eating, or they choose something else. And what happens by the end of the day is a series of decisions.
Yes.
Okay. So we're not
people
silencing, we are directing. Okay. We're directing. So let's get back to the protein there. Very typical. So we're going to go proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And when I'm looking at my plate, especially when you're on a GLP-1 medication, which is going to, by effect of the medication, reduce your appetite, you are going to have probably a smaller quantity of food and opportunity and hunger level that you need to fill. And you got to be strategic with what you're eating.
Exactly.
And I know, because I've heard you speak about this, protein, but why? Why the protein? Before we even say what is the protein, why the protein? Why the protein?
Helps us feel full for longer. It gives our muscles, our bodies, nutrients. I mean, it's so important.
Super important. In fact, while you're on your weight loss journey, whether with this medical assisted weight loss or you're doing it some other way, whatever it is, it's that when people get on the scale and they see the reduction of their weight, if they're not working to protect their muscles and they're not taking in enough protein, that weight that's dropping on the scale is actually a lot of their muscle mass. Muscle mass, maybe 50-50 muscle mass to fat mass. Now, last time I wanted to lose weight, I didn't really want to lose my muscle. I wanted to see a leaner body in the mirror. I didn't just want to be smaller. I wanted to have a lower body fat percentage. I wanted to feel less. I don't know what the word is. We can all pick our favorite word, but I think when people think weight loss, what they're really after is fat loss. And if we don't not intaking enough protein and doing enough to preserve your muscle, your body will just pick from wherever it wants to pick from.
Yeah.
And that is
And
not good.
this is regardless whether you're on a GLP-1 or not. It's when you lose weight, this is what happens. I just want to clarify. And I think that the reason why GLP-1s have gotten this reputation is because more people have lost weight in the past couple of years than ever before due to GLP-1s. So yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the reputation for the weight loss is great. And then you hear that little, oh, I don't want to go on it because they say when I'm off it, I'm going to gain or things like that. A lot of this has to do with, did I preserve that muscle while I was doing the work? Okay. So let's go to the protein. So you have your natural animal sources that we all know, the meat, the fish, even your low fat cottage cheese, you know, it's very, your mom had cottage cheese too, right? It's got quite a substantial amount of protein in a serving. In fact, you know what? I didn't pull the cottage cheese. I'm just going to grab it right here from the fridge, which is why I decided to do this from the kitchen because I'm always grabbing food.
I love cottage cheese. I think it's a great on the go type of food. You don't have to prepare it. Great thing for breakfast or lunch. And if we're, let's say, an average person looking to hit 100 grams of protein a day, let's see, if they had cottage cheese for breakfast, where would it get them?
They had cottage cheese for breakfast. Yes. And in terms of determining how much protein you need to hit per day, it is going to vary based on your height, weight, you know, your general size, the current amount of muscle mass that you have, and
Weights?
little bit your activity level. So if we're going to assume everybody's doing moderate, you know, none of us are heavy athletes. There are, if you Google protein calculator, you will be able to put in your weight, height, and activity level, and it will give you a rough estimate of grams per day. Okay. This idea is 1 gram per body weight. Just plug it into the calculator, protein calculator, Google it. It'll be very easy to get your number. Okay. Half a cup of cottage cheese here, 16 grams of protein. So this would cover about half the amount of protein that you're trying to get at breakfast, right? I try to get maybe 20 to 30 grams of protein to kick off your day. So not only is it going to be digested slower because your body takes more time to digest the protein than it would something that's more simple, like a simple carbohydrate. It'll be sustained energy, less blood sugar spike. It's the spike that kind of makes you get the next craving, right? What I love about cottage cheese, or just in general, any protein that has a little bit of fat content. So I don't buy the fat free. I like to buy something with a little bit of fat. Combination of that protein with that little bit of fat. Just like your salmon has those omega fat in it. Exactly. You do.
So that will help. That will help. Even with the fat, it'll help decrease the sugar spikes and also help you feel full for longer. So the fat is good. Even like with milk, correct? With a lot of things, you don't want to go. You want to add the fat in, right?
Yeah, especially in fact, another little piece of trivia here. Your milk, your dairy milk. Now, let's not talk about the nut milks for a second, but your dairy milk is actually a what? Protein, fat, or carbohydrate?
I should know this for many reasons.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Isn't it a combination?
Yeah. Okay. Great answer. Fact. That is true. So depending on the fat level of that milk,
Definitely fat.
it will like move around a little bit.
Is it all three?
It is all three. It is all three. But you just said the milk without fat is really primarily a carbohydrate. Dairy milk
Yeah.
is a carbohydrate. It serves as a carbohydrate in your bloodstream. So this,
If I want a good protein, I want to hit 30 grams. What's a good suggestion? So I can do cottage cheese, I can do yogurt, and I could, what do you think about putting a little bit of protein powder in the yogurt? Because sometimes I feel like that could help me get to 30 grams.
100%. Some people
15.
love to do that,
Yeah.
especially if you take like a plain yogurt, like a Fage. I like to buy the Fage 2%. You have your favorite protein. It'll give it flavor, a little bit of sweetness, and then you're bumping up the protein. Now, the fiber addition is super important throughout the day. Protein and fiber at every meal is very much a value of mine.
Why is fiber important? Tell us a little bit more. And
How much time do we have?
would you say it's just real quick, would you say it's as important for men as it is for females, or is it more important for females?
Everybody, babies, even pets,
Okay.
everybody needs fiber. Again, this is not my development. This is straight science. It's not a discovery of mine. It's not like a little health and wellness little woo-woo topic. Fiber, go Google American Heart Association.
What's the reason?
Not only, I mean, fiber has so many benefits. Number one, obviously it's a digestive benefit, right? So as fiber moves through your system, it's acting as either what they call, if you can imagine, like almost like a rake, not in a bad way, but in a way that your body likes, a rake through your digestive system, or a sponge. So as it's moving through your system, you're eating it, you call it ingesting, you eat it, but you don't digest it. It does not enter your bloodstream. And while it's traveling through your system and then finally exiting the body in a way that helps you evacuate comfortably, right? It's taking with it like toxins from your body, because it has that absorption capacity, and it's also taking along with it the waste, and it's also so that's the part of the body
Would
where
you say that people who have if anyone has like inflammatory bowel, let's say just a lot of constipation, different type of GI movements happening, is fiber a good thing for them? Help them out?
Yes, obviously they would be speaking to their doctor specifically, like, what kind of fiber would be right for them. And, but everybody needs it. Everybody needs it.
And what are like examples of fiber? Like, should we go to powders, or what are different things that have fiber in it? So if I'm having cottage cheese yogurt for breakfast or some eggs, what are the examples of fiber that I should get, and how much? I think giving us examples will be helpful, because I think that's where we get stuck.
That is definitely where a lot of people get stuck. So naturally, we know fiber is going to be found in a lot of those fibrous fruits and vegetables, but there is a range. So you're going to find, so let's go to the bottom of the range. Something like a sweet potato is not going to contain nearly as much fiber as something like an artichoke. Okay. So the typical vegetables that you might think of, in fact, an artichoke is extremely high in fiber per serving. I don't know if you like artichokes, so you can buy them even, I buy them. I'm a no fuss person. I go to Wegmans, I go to the frozen vegetable aisle, I buy the bag, I stick it in the air fryer with olive oil, salt, pepper, use it as a side dish next to my protein and fiber, protein and fiber. Think easy, fast, uncomplicated. So you have your vegetables like artichokes, broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, eggplant. These are per serving, and certainly people eat maybe 1 or 2 servings. They love, especially if you love your vegetables, you're just going to be adding on the fiber, adding on the fiber, adding on the fiber. I want you to consider all of these vegetables to be foods that you can eat at any time in any amount without even thinking about
What
it.
about people who don't like vegetables? What do they do?
Okay, we'll get to that. Yes. Obviously, vegetables are ideal because you're also going to get the vitamins and minerals that are in the vegetables. We can't necessarily replace that, right? So there's some vitamins, you have to eat them in order to get them into your body. You're not going to
You're going
really
to be
get
getting a lot of IV drips, a lot of IV.
right. Well, that's the other way, I guess. But they do make some products nowadays. Again, we're working convenience. We're talking about the regular person who's walking the aisles of the supermarket. What can I buy that's going to give me the fiber that I can pair with my protein to make it easier for me? This is a product that I pulled from my pantry. I just bought a fresh pack. These are a wrap. Everybody loves a wrap. When you go to the wrap aisle, there's going to be multiples. You're going to have your plain corn wrap. If you turn over the label, it's going to have 0 fiber in it. So if you love to have a wrap, you might as well just pick up this one. They're in exactly the same spot. There's another brand called Carb Balance. And just simply by exchanging one source for another source, you're going to end up with 12 grams of fiber just in this wrap. And there's actually even a little bit of protein here. So you'll be, if you took this and wrapped it up with, with your breakfast or had a cottage cheese. I love to make pizzas on this, a little cheese, a little sauce, afternoon snack. You're getting only 60 calories, but you're getting that fiber and getting closer and closer to your fiber goals. But I don't only want to talk about the goal as a goal. It's going to serve you because nobody wants to be hungry throughout the day. And yes, your medication is going to help with that, but at some point you will and do have to eat. We all have to eat. So you can choose one thing or you could choose the other that's going to really give you that digestive support and help you feel fuller longer or not.
Right. And this, regardless whether you're on the medication or not, these rules still apply. The thing is that when you're on these medications, it's almost like you technically don't have to follow these rules and you'll feel full. But when you go off the medication, you will not sustain the weight loss. So, I mean, this happens way too often. How many people go on GLP-1s, lose weight and gain it back? And the answer comes down to how you are eating and is it sustainable? So understanding the right foods to pick for breakfast, lunch, or supper, or however many times you eat during the day, understanding the decisions about what foods to eat will help you stay full for longer, and it will work for you long-term to keep the weight off. So another example, let's say for lunch, what should we eat for lunch? We had cottage cheese for breakfast or yogurt. Now we're up to lunch.
Maybe you had some eggs, maybe you had a little bit of veggies in there. You put a little veggies into your little side omelet. Maybe you had a wrap with it. Then we get to lunchtime. In general, I like to focus on protein and vegetables for lunch. If you have a limited appetite, especially on the GLP-1, again, I would be picking the protein on your plate first because we're always going to make protein a priority. You're in a position right now where your protein has to be your jam. Protein has to be your jam. And if that's all that's going to fill you up in that smaller appetite, you need to go to the protein. That has to become just like a lifestyle habit for you. And then when maybe you taper off the medication and maybe your hunger starts to expand, then you need to think like, okay, I'm gonna have that protein. And what is that vegetable that I can put on the side? And what's that little bit of fat that I can put on the side? And then move on to your carbohydrates as that last little bit of, for taste and for just to, people want to enjoy their food, but protein has got to come first.
Yeah. So it has to be the appetizer, protein, vegetables. It's the process that first thing that you eat, especially if you're only able to eat X amount of food per day or per meal. So, okay.
And I can touch on the vegetarian here for a second. There are people who don't eat animal sourced protein. Okay. Maybe they'll eat eggs or fish, but then there are people who won't even consume eggs or fish or can't for some reason. So there are other outlets for proteins. Obviously, you're going to find proteins in a variety of beans. You'll find proteins in lentils. Obviously, if you do like tofu or seitan, tofu and seitan are probably the closest protein payoff compared to like a chicken or a fish. So if you love that, go for it. Go for the tofu.
Tofu is a good source of protein. I've heard controversial studies on that it's fake protein. I'm just asking. Is it?
How much are you eating? Nothing's bad. Nothing's bad unless
so it's still a good source of protein for plant-based.
Still a good source of protein. Yes. Yes. People like seitan. And then I said the legumes, protein, the lentils, I said that. And then obviously your vegetables are going to give you a little bit of protein payoff, but just to understand that it's not exactly the same as an animal source. The way your body processes it is a little bit different. The accessibility to it, a little bit different. And also your beans and things come along with carbohydrates where something like, a meat, a chicken, a fish will not. Again, lifestyle choices are important. I just love to for people to understand the difference if you're not in that position. Like you're going out with your friends, you're like, oh, I'll have the lentils instead of have the salmon. But if you are, a chicken, a fish, a meat lover, like the lentils and the salmon are not.
Not all proteins are created equal then.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, let's say someone does have lentils or beans, also like dressing like your food with like hemp seeds, chia seeds. Can you talk about that for a second? Because that's like easy on the go type of thing to add protein in.
Easy on the go. So I pulled this out. I wish I had the package. I opened the package and I do
Doing so
can't.
good with my questions. Like you have based on my
I'm
questions.
ready. Oh, I have a whole, I really want to show you two cereals and a bread. So we can't hang up till then. Okay. In this is where I keep my seeds. Now, most people are very familiar with chia seeds. Okay. You can mix them into things. Some people like to dehydrate them, put them in drinks. They have like a little bit of like a jelly texture on the outside. Very common. People love their chia. However, there's a company called Zen Basil, Zen, Z-E-N, Basil. Buy it directly from them. There's not a lot of companies that sell this. This is called a basil seed. I don't know if you could see it kind of like.
How many grams, like one spoon, like how many grams of protein does it give us?
So this is a fiber source.
Oh, awesome.
This is a fiber source, and chia is also more of a fiber source than it would be a protein source. This is actually pure fiber. It swells like a chia seed. You use a tablespoon, you'll get 8 grams of fiber just from this. I actually sprinkle it on top of my yogurt with my high fiber and protein granola.
Great.
And it's very portable. When I go away, I put it in like little packets, and I can get Greek yogurt at any hotel breakfast, pour on
Great.
my seeds, take it with me. Yeah. This
Amazing.
is my favorite, Zen basil seeds, but you could do it with a chia seed, same thing. Just take it with you. You have now upped the fiber and nutrition value of what you're eating.
So when we pair the protein and the fiber together, again, it's gonna help us stay full for longer. So it's really like, in order to get the proper nutrients in your body for you to look good and you to feel full for longer, this is not about just getting thinner. You need to have X amount of protein and fiber together. When you do those things, then you won't feel hungry throughout the day. And then you won't get home at like 5 o'clock and start snacking. If you just think, okay, these are the targets that I want to hit at the end of the day. I want to hit like 30 grams per meal. I want to have X amount of protein, X amount of fiber, and just putting little chia seeds on your food is so simple if you just buy it and you have it with you. And it doesn't even like, it's honestly, I feel I've had it, doesn't taste like anything. So it's
no, it doesn't take up any space. You know what, Bracha? I don't like to be hungry. I really don't. It's a tough place to be. And I also don't like feeling like a sugar drop where you start to get the headache. I'm looking for sustainable energy. And this is not just stuff that you and I are just making up because it sounds good or because somebody on Instagram said so. This is basic science for every human body of how we metabolize and use the foods that we eat and how it's going to help us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
let's talk about oatmeal for 1 second.
oatmeal.
A good breakfast, guys. Let's debunk oatmeal.
Let's debunk oatmeal. So yes, I have children. So I do have this in my house. My daughter bought it. She's really tiny. She could take all the carbohydrates she needs. I'm not, some people don't like Quaker oats. They think it's sprayed with glyphosate with the what do you call it? You know what I'm talking about? What they spray on plants so that they don't have bugs. They say that about oats. I'm not crazy like that. Or you're not crazy. I'm sorry. That's not on my top priority list. This is actually pretty simple. This is the greatest thing. You're going to love this when I show this to you. Okay. Ingredients: whole grain oats, sugar, salt, natural flavor. So it's actually a very simple, basic product. Okay.
Might as well eat a cookie.
Well, let's think about the regular shopper. Picks this up off the shelf and it says 100% whole grain. Does that mean, what does that mean actually? Like, what does that mean for you and for your body, right? Because when you break it down, there's actually not a lot of fiber. People consider oatmeal to be a high fiber food.
Yeah.
this, so again, 1 tablespoon of this, 8 grams of fiber, only fiber. There's no carbohydrate here. It's carbohydrate and fiber. It basically cancels each other out. It's only fiber. How many grams of fiber do you think is on 1 packet of whole grain oatmeal?
Two maybe.
No, you cheated because you know the answer to
I
this.
didn't. I didn't. That was a guess. I always thought that oatmeal was high in fiber. I was always like, I'm being so healthy. And then you taught me that it's like not. So that's why I guess.
There's 3 grams of fiber in our oatmeal that is they're selling to you as being
Yeah.
heart healthy, whole grain. Again, I'm not demonizing this product. I have it in my own house, but if you're putting a goal of to keep your blood sugar down, because there's quite a bit of carbohydrate here, 33
That's
grams of
not it.
carbohydrate, that you wear that glucose monitor and have this oatmeal.
I'm wearing it now, actually.
Oh,
So
it's going way
life
up. Even if you're
changing,
not,
guys.
you'll feel it. You'll feel it. You'll feel it in 2 hours from now when you're hungry again and when you maybe crash a little bit.
And that's
Okay.
the difference. If you had oatmeal for breakfast or you had cottage cheese, you are going to feel full for longer with the cottage cheese versus the oatmeal. Even if the portion size may be a little bit bigger, you're still going to feel hungrier faster with oatmeal because it didn't give you fiber and protein. So the trick is always getting fiber and protein. If you want to eat something else after that doesn't contain that, that's fine. But make sure the first thing you have, especially in the morning, is protein fiber.
Is the protein. And in fact, I think you followed the glucose goddess, but one of her recommendations, and I really do try to put this into practice, is to start with this, if possible, savory protein versus a sweet protein, just for your brain. Sort of like kicking off a series of choices over the course of the day. But that's for the advanced protein eater.
And what about dinner? So dinner, we want to get our last like 40 grams.
Okay, so if you've really taken the time, not the time, if you've taken the effort, again, we're not silencing, we're directing. If you've directed your body over the course of the day and had that protein at breakfast, had a little bit of fats, maybe a little side of carbohydrate, had some sort of vegetable or some sort of, high fiber carbohydrate with your lunch, had that protein there. Maybe afternoon snack, you were getting a little hungry, you had a little bit of Greek yogurt and you put a little bit of your fiber seeds in there. Or maybe even you chose a high protein, high fiber granola to put in your afternoon snack. Easy, portable, readily available, non-perishable items. I'm going to tell you, by the time you get to dinner, you're not going to be starving. You're
Okay.
actually probably going to have a lower appetite at night than you're used to having if you're as long as you're not pushing off eating, right? So we're trying to preserve our muscle, we're trying to preserve our energy, we're trying to keep steady energy, we're trying to reduce glucose spikes just to feel better and be better on the inside out. By the time you get to dinner, I promise you're not going to be as hungry, but
Feel good, look good, be good.
look, I feel, yeah, all that. But number one, obviously, like I sound like a broken record, but the first thing that goes on your plate is going to be your protein source. Okay, you might need less at night. You've really accumulated over the day, but your protein source is going to go primo. Vegetables go second. And then that carbohydrate goes third. So I always want you to think in that order. Always want you to think in that order. And as your appetite expands, you can add more vegetables. You understand what I'm saying? You will have a limited appetite on the medication. It will expand. You expand your plate. But
we hit the protein and fiber numbers.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I think we just should have titled this webinar protein.
Yeah.
And told everyone to go home after that. I don't know how else to stress it. There are supplements also. You can buy, like you said, protein powders into your yogurt if you'd like to do that. I was on TikTok last night and I've never personally tried this product, but it did definitely pique my interest that there is such a thing called clear protein. They make a clear protein. I have to look into what the protein source is, but the idea behind it is that it's not flavored like a vanilla or chocolate, like you get these powders. So they call it clear protein. So you can actually add it to like water or something like that, so that you can actually drink if you feel that you're, and hydrate at the same time, because hydration is all day hydration. I mean, that is the root of hydration, right? Where you can actually get a supplement of protein through your water. So I'm definitely gonna look into that and see what that is. And I think the last thing that I would touch on is they do make protein bars, they are very, very, very different. Every brand will offer you something different. I encourage everybody who's here, when they're in the airport or running, you know, on their errands and they're feeling a little bit hungry and they want to grab a protein bar, turn over the bar and look for the protein payoff. It should have 20 grams or more in that bar if it's really offering you the protein that you're looking for in that meal. It should have 20 grams or more. If it does, then it's probably lower in carbohydrate and medium on fat. But again, we're not demonizing fat. So
Yeah,
if you turn over your bar and it's just 9 grams, 8 grams, you're getting a lot more in that bar than protein. So I'd rather you find one that has higher protein for the.
I'm going to answer one or two questions. So question someone just asked was, like, I think they want a little bit more information on macros. Maybe if you could touch base a little bit more on that. And I'm curious to learn how to wean off the medication once you've reached your goal weight and keep it off. So I will just add something about losing weight, keeping it off. It's all
Yeah.
about what we're saying now. So for example, if you go on these medications, your dose is too high, you're never hungry, you just eat. I mean, I have no problem with someone eating once a day or twice a day, it doesn't matter, as long as you get in your nutrients. But if you are going to be in a very high dose, that's too high for you, and you're not getting the proper, hitting the proper nutrients, fiber, protein goals every day, what happens is that you go off the medications and you're actually starving because you didn't learn how to eat. And that's a problem. So if you're on these medications, you need to learn how to eat and start eating protein first, eating the things that we just spoke about. If you are hitting your goals and eating the right way and listening to your body, not silencing it, meaning you do feel hungry and then you eat the proper things and you're not snacking on the wrong things all the time, not, you have the right gauge between feeling hungry and not hungry all the time. Once you get there, then we start titrating you off the medication where you become more in control and the medication has less control over your food center. What we do at IV Drips is basically an art and a science in how we dose people. And when we dose you, we never turn off your control center to 100 because that's very dangerous in terms of keeping the weight off and really helping someone long-term. So what we do is we turn your control center midway. We learn where that is. That's different for every person, for you to be able to learn new habits and be able to make different decisions. Understanding what I need to eat in a given day is going to help you make the right decision. So if you don't understand what does that mean, 100 grams of protein, you're not really understanding what that is practically, of what I need to eat, lunch, breakfast, supper, what I actually need to eat, then you're going to go on these medications. You think you're eating enough and you're not. And then you go off it and you're like, I'm always hungry. That's a problem. So you
I
can't
also
be
I
there.
also want to add one thing to the commenter. She the way she said is that the information that we're providing is very basic. I think it feels basic until you're at a restaurant, you open up a menu and you're trying to figure out what to order. Or it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you're a little lightheaded because maybe you didn't have time to eat a proper lunch today and you're standing in the supermarket and your body is telling you to do something because your body wants when you're lightheaded, your body is just telling you carbohydrates or whatever it is. And you have to be in the mindset that I'm going to reach for the protein. So the information should be basic because the way the body works is basic. These are the basic building blocks of day-to-day nutrition and what your body requires in order to function optimally to provide the most stable landscape for you to feel your best throughout the day and make decisions that I think you actually want. So, again, until your kid is sick and you didn't sleep last night and now you come down to the kitchen and you want to have breakfast, the macros are simple until you get to that point. And that's real life. And that's the real life that's going to follow you, whether you're on your medication for 6 months or a year. And then after you wean off of it, as you're weaning off and those signals are coming back, real life is going to hit you in the face. And you have to be prepared with this information in your head, like almost like a muscle,
Yeah.
muscle to put
Yeah.
it into practice, right?
Yeah. Emotional muscle, we call it. You keep on doing it, it's easier wins. Another person just wrote that they want, uh, someone just said that it's amazing. I appreciate that. You're learning so much. Another person feels like they want more guidance on how to eat properly. This is why we're doing these things. So hopefully this was helpful. You also always could reach out to your nurse practitioner or someone on our team and just say, hey, can you guys give me a list of things to eat? Speak to your NP about saying, I never feel hungry or always feel hungry, and understanding what that is. That's kind of why we have nurse practitioners guiding patients on this, because it's all about feeling hungry enough to eat the right foods, but decreasing your food noise. Um, sometimes patients, they're like, I want to lose more weight, and they want to go higher on the dose. But when I talk to them, they're actually like not eating a lot of food. And I'm like, I can't put you higher because you're going to eat less. Like, that's not going to help you. I think we just need to eat right. So it's not always about eating less, it's about eating right. And when you silence your body and go up too high, then when you go off it, you won't have long-term results because you didn't build up that muscle to understand how to eat and when to eat.
And I don't know if it's I don't like to frame it necessarily as eating right or eating wrong, but eating optimally to guide you on the path to getting the result that you're actually seeking. Because one path will get you there in a more optimal way than another path will get you to the optimal result that you're actually
Yeah.
craving or
Yeah.
seeking. So
Great. And obviously going on a GLP-1, it's so much easier to say no to all of these simple carbs, sugars. And that's kind of why we believe putting on these people on these medications short term to learn how to eat right or eat optimal. It's so hard. I mean, this is reality. It's so hard to say no to those sugar cravings, especially if you're always having it. It's really hard. And when you hit menopause, you gain those 10 pounds for no reason, and it's super frustrating, and you're eating your kids extra food, whatever it is. At the end of the day, the reality is it's, for most people, it doesn't work. And so going on these medications basically gives you the control in the right way to make the right decisions. You have that emotional muscle that you learn. You stop drinking alcohol, you stop having so much sugar, you start sleeping better, you start feeling more energized, you have less inflammation, and bam, you are like Superman or Superwoman. And then you just continue to do this as a lifestyle. And that's how you see people on these medications who are looking fabulous. And then they go off the medication, they're still looking fabulous, and they're strong and they're healthier. Or you see people looking like Ozempic butt, Ozempic face, their hair spinning. The difference comes down to two things: how they were dosed and how they ate. Those are the secret success. Like, those two things you want to focus on. And they're little decisions that you make every single day. It's little decisions that you make consistently every single day is what's going to make someone, or the body they want, for someone who doesn't like their body. It comes down to those decisions you make every single day. So every day that you win, clap hands for yourself, you're on the right path.
we're clapping for you too.
Okay, well, I'm so glad we did this, Adina. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Anyone
you.
can always reach out to Adina directly if you want more support on nutrients and how to eat. Especially she is very well versed if someone's on a GLP-1s, because she works with us at IV Drips. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take
Bye-bye.
care.